Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back for day 2 here at Recon. I hope you guys all had a great day yesterday. Let's begin our day of learning about a topic that holds great significance for organization in today's world. Technology has disrupted the real estate and construction industry by streamlining critical processes from pre-construction to project closeout, which helps us in driving profit margins. Our speaker will be focusing on giving valuable insights on the impact of technology on residential construction. Please put your hands together to welcome Ms. Brooke Mitchell, home remodeling specialist, investor, and owner of BB Design Co.
Good morning, everybody. I want to give you just a little bit of background on me and how I got here. I actually have 4 companies, all within the home industry. So I have a remodeling company, I have a design company specifically geared towards the trade, I have a flipping company, and a wholesaling company, which any of you that know anything about wholesaling knows that's my problem child. But I will say I started out, in construction, I guess you could say, at a young age. First, we're going to go over my background, but we're going to talk about some antiquated tools in this industry, tools that we can utilize right now that are very affordable and feasible, and then the tech to come. But to give you some background on me, I kind of grew up in this industry. I grew up with a contractor, a carpenter, and a mason all in my family. And my mom actually she was a realtor that specialized in home remodels. So as a kid, she would have an open house and say, okay, today you're gonna go do the master bath. Go in there, design it, pitch it when they come through, make them fall in love with it to where they need to buy it and do it. And I was like, okay, cool. So of course, I joke, it's in my DNA. This is how I ended up as a designer. But Diane that spoke yesterday, I related to her speech because I did not plan to go into the industry. I fell into it right after college. I landed at Ferguson Enterprises and started designing high-end kitchens and baths in downtown DC Design Center. And then it just kind of went from there. However, at one point, I got antsy and said, this is not what I planned to do. I was going to do something different. So I left design and I went and worked in the tech industry for about 9 years. I worked in a lot of different facets, worked with a lot of startups, helping them get their technology right. I'd move on to the next one. But I learned a lot about all the up and comings. So I got really into it, got really excited about it. And then ultimately I started with a startup and they said, we're not sure if this one's gonna go anywhere. You should have a side gig. Well, I already did. I had been designing houses on the side for years. Friends, their neighbors would see it, they'd have me in. So I decided to make it official. And that's how this happened. So I ended up going in full time, and once I got back into the home industry, I realized how antiquated it was, especially when it came to technology, and how people were just working so hard and doing so much when there were tools that could help them streamline their processes and give them more breathing room. So, with that said, this picture is from 1963. I'm not 100% sure if it's architects or engineers. Gives me engineer vibes. But when you think about it, when you have your 3D print or 3D visual of a job site right now, and you think about this is how drawings used to happen. I mean, I know every time a client's like, can you change this? Can you tweak this? If they did that, like how long would that take? I can't even think about it. So we have come a ways. But we're moving in a direction where we are seeing more and more technology in our industry. And there are certain things that we are completely going to do away with. And there's out with the old. I think COVID taught us 100% face-to-face meetings. because I had been in the tech industry, I was using Zoom from the very beginning. I was telling my clients, you don't have, I'm not gonna drag you around, I'm gonna bring selections to you, but also we're gonna do meetings on Zoom. And I like that for going over drawings because then I drive the meeting, they see exactly what I want them to see, I can keep them focused and on target, I can zoom in and zoom out. It's a fabulous tool, and they love that because they're busy and they have a life and they don't want this process to consume more of it than it needs to. Showrooms and selection centers, it's going away. I know that sounds crazy because right now they're like Starbucks, they're everywhere. But when you think about it, you have these showrooms that the second they're built, they're cool for a little bit, and then they're antiquated. And it's somebody in that showroom thought, oh, these vignettes are perfect. And they only speak to about 1% of the population. People come in, and their main goal is to get their layout, get their pricing, find their colors, find their door style, and none of that has to happen in a showroom. This is going to be eliminated because of technology. Limited options. As a builder, as a contractor, when you're giving the one of three option, that's over. Clients are now, they're on the internet. They're sourcing us. They're looking at all these things. They're on Pinterest. They're on Houzz. Those one of three options are just going to put you on the back burner for other builders and contractors that have a wide array of opportunities and selections based on what they have access to, and most of that is through digital technology. Outrageous design fees. Now, I'm a designer, so trust me, on some of these bigger projects, that's still gonna exist. But for the mom and pops, like the little Joe Schmo that is wanting to redo his kitchen, he's not gonna wanna pay a crazy design fee, but having a designer on his job makes him feel special. They feel like they've got, something unique and custom and not just something from Lowe's and Home Depot. So we need to think about that when we're structuring and building in design fees on the builder and contractor side. And then the last two are ones that I really want to talk about, which are minimal transparency and basic renderings. So when it comes to transparency, and I think Latrice touched on this yesterday, and how it is so, so, so important to be transparent with your clients. Because the home industry in general, there's a sense of untrustworthiness because a lot of bad apples spoiled the bunch, but especially on residential construction. And I'm from, based out of Northern Virginia, right outside of DC, and there's a statistic that 63% of our contractors are not licensed, bonded, or insured, but they are working. And the problem is that if one of those people get on your job and they mess it up, you really don't have much of a leg to stand on, especially if you can't track them down once it's done. And all of that ensues fear and concern in our clients. So, one of the things that I like to talk about when it comes to transparency, I'm not talking about getting too deep in the weeds on specific numbers, on finances, things like that, but I'm talking about they need to understand the process. We need to be making sure, and this goes pretty much for all different professions in here. A lot of times when we get clients that are nervous or asking a lot of questions or concerned, it's because they don't fully understand what's happening. And that creates distrust, and they automatically think something wrong is happening. So for example, it's in my contract, I break it out how my fees are, how I make my money. I put in there that I make markup. I know that a lot of people in the industry hate that, but I'm sorry, because if they walk into a boutique and buy a pair of pants, they don't ask, well, how much markup did you put on that? They just buy the pants if it's the right price and they like them. So I make sure that they understand I'm a small business. This is how I do it. I run lean. I don't have a showroom. I don't have a big office space. So I have good margins, and you reap the benefit, but this is how it works. The other thing is that if you also give them timelines and processes for when things are happening, they feel more comfortable. Their home's getting ripped apart. They deserve to have that conversation, and this just increases trust. And then also, if you'll see, with self-accountability equals client empathy, I love this, because I'm going to show you a tool that allows you to give some visibility to your client, which in turn gives you self-accountability. You're saying, here are the deadlines I'm going to do my best to meet. Here's when this is going to happen. Here's when this is going to happen. And that way, the client has a little bit of empathy. For example, with COVID, I can't tell you how many conversations I had about permits and just getting things through, inspections. I would tell stories about other inspections, especially there for a while, we were having inspections, video inspections. So on electrical, they're looking at certain things and they may forget to ask something. So a permit gets denied because it was an issue on their end. They have to go back and get somebody to direct them to what to see. And it really helped because then they were feeling some empathy for us and what we were going through, and it made the process easier on both sides, even though it was still frustrating. And it also eliminates customer sourcing, not completely. It's always going to happen. You're always going to have that guy that does it. But, once they feel comfortable and they understand how you're pricing your things and they understand that you're getting wholesale and trade pricing and how you're working, then they feel less necessity to go source everything you're showing them online. And then ultimately, transparency leads to loyalty. That's the biggest one up here. Because when you get a client that trusts you, then they come back. I have clients that I've done 3, 4, 5 projects in different phases through their house, or they've moved and I'm there at the inspection, or I'm there before they make an offer, or their kid buys their first condo and we spruce it up. So it just really leads to return business. So one of the things that can give you guys quality transparency and just overall simplify your process is technology. And I'm going to talk about a couple quick tools that are just simple that you can implement, and this is across all professions in the room. All of these are great for team projects, rollouts, build-outs, you name it. Trello's the first one. I love this. Obviously, I'm a flipper. I actually found this through some flippers that I work with that are just doing mammoth amounts of projects at once. But what you can do is you can create these little silos, and with each silo, you have little tabs. So this is a tab, this is a tab, this is a tab. You can attach a picture, you can attach documents, you can invite your client to be a part of this board. For example, on a kitchen, we may have flooring in one silo, cabinets in one, all of our drawings and elevations in another, hardware, lighting, you name it. And then we could have one that's timeline, where we're breaking out what happens. First we demo, this should take about 2 days. Then we do this, then we do this, then we do this, with a rough estimate. Set their expectations, remind them this is construction, doesn't always work as we hope, but it does. And then that way it gives them like a sense of being included, and you have self-accountability, and it builds that trust. And it just keeps you organized, because the more people you add to this board, the more access people have, the less phone calls you get asking for things, and it's free. So, oops, wrong way. So the next one is Slack. Slack is a tool that I strongly encourage. How many of you have been on a project or a job site or a client walkthrough and you've had to go back and pull up an email and you're like fumbling through the 1,000 emails you got in the last week and you can't find it? So the thing is that Slack gets you off email. Your company should not be on email. We get too many. They're too watered down. It's a mess. There's not really good organizational tools that are functional. Slack fixes that. So this is an example of my Slack for my remodeling company. You can see over there I've got all my client projects. I've got elevations and drawings in here. My contractor is on here, our project coordinator. guys on the crew we put on here. Everybody has access to it. And you create channels just based on the content. So I have them on projects. You can have one for marketing. You can have one for social media. With our design firm for trade, we have like a whole section for social media. When somebody thinks of something good, they drop it on there. So it's a really fabulous tool, and it also starts freeing up your inbox for client emails, important. You can start to clean that up and have less mess in your inbox. You can tag people directly. You can click on these individually and have a thread conversation underneath it. I can't say enough good. Also, Slack and Trello integrate with Salesforce. So if you don't have a CRM, you should, and it can all talk to one another. And then this is a really simple one, Microsoft To Do. It's part of the Microsoft suite. This one is one you can do individual ones. This is one for my team. We've got everything out here that we want to get accomplished. And you can see in these little dots, they're assigned. So you can assign them to individuals. As they complete them, then you can actually, they drop down below with a line. So it's a great organizational internal tool. And also, if you click on them, you can do due dates, reminders. You can add files. And for example, here, add notes. So if when Eddie was working on this, I clicked on it to see what had he started working on it? Oh, he had. Okay, I'll just wait. I don't need to take time to call and talk to him about that. So those are just some simple tools that I can't stress enough to do YouTube. YouTube. You can go online and pull up any of these and get great video tutorials on how each of them work, how to interconnect one of them, make them speak to one another, and also incorporate into Salesforce if you have that. So now that we've talked about just simple organizational tools that polishes you up and makes you more professional and organized in front of your clients, now I want to talk about the design stuff, which that's the fun part. So I remember the first time I saw SketchUp, and I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, that's so much better than just a 2D or like a, that's really awesome. And then I saw V-Ray. So I don't know if everyone's not familiar. This is a rendering. This is not a photo. This is actually a rendering. And this is the direction that more and more companies are going as the standard. So if you're handing your client a little black and white flat layout, and you're bidding against somebody who's like showing them, oh, this is how we'll give you, this is how we'll present the design to you, and your price is the same, guess which one they're probably going with? Because people hire us because they don't have the vision. They can't see it. I didn't realize that when I first got into this. I thought, oh, everybody can walk into a room and start ripping it apart and redesigning it and moving doors and windows and seeing what it looks like. That's not true. They need to see it. They need to understand it. The more realistic image that they get, the better the chance that you're going to get that job. And I can't stress it enough for exteriors. I mean, if you're about to, I've got a job right now in Great Falls. We are gutting the entire house, blowing out the left side, and putting on a 2,300 square foot addition. So we're refacing the entire front of the house. It's gonna look like a brand new home. We have the CAD drawings, but they can't really visualize what their home is gonna look like. They wanna pick their colors. They wanna see what they look like. They've got some wood posts on the front. They wanna be able to pick out those colors. This is how you do that. This is how you make the process much faster and cleaner, and you have a client that has signed off on actual visuals rather than just simple black and white drawings where when it's done, they're like, but wait a minute, that's not exactly what I wanted. So can you play this video? So this is a video walkthrough done on V-Ray. And this is something that we offer for our clients and our contractors and our builders to where, let's say that we're doing a new construction home or a major renovation with a build out. We can actually take the V-Ray software and do a full video walkthrough of the property so that they can get a sense of what it feels like to move through it. Visuals, we can change the lighting. They can see it at night, they can see it at morning, whatever it is. But this is how we kind of up the game for our contractors. Do I need to? How many of you in here are residential builders? Got a few. Are any of you guys using things like V-Ray right now? You are. Okay, awesome. So I think that this is something that we need to start thinking about as trade subs. You know, like you never call the plumber and say, hey, can you do the electrical on this house for me tomorrow? So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to find a company like ourselves that can do this for you and just build it into your package. It's gonna start elevating your game, it's gonna get you higher end clients, and it's also gonna get you clients, it's gonna build trust because they have more confidence in the product that they're getting. No? Okay, well, YouTube it, it's great. So these are all some of the things that you should absolutely be utilizing right this minute in order to have a competitive edge. But now I want to talk about what's coming in our industry. And by the way, when it comes to builders, there's so many different project management softwares, and they're incredibly expensive but worth it. And those are things that could be an entirely different conversation. Today, I just wanted to focus on kind of like the simple things that are affordable and easy to implement to really up your game. But now I want to talk about the future, because we are moving in the next 4 to 5 years, most definitely in 10 years, you are not going to recognize our industry. It is not going to be what it was before. This is Legacy Kitchens based out of Canada. We really love what they're doing, and we're kind of molding some of the things that we're doing and implementing around some of their processes and services. But VR is the next thing. Your clients are going to be, you're going to be bidding against contractors that, let's say you're just doing a kitchen, but you're knocking out a wall, and maybe the client's concerned about spacing and how will it look for the living room, and they're just not getting it through 2020. Well, VR does it. They can actually put these goggles on, stand in their home, and see their space, their new space, see what it's going to look like, and get a really good sense of it. So this is going to be industry standard moving forward. Also, when it comes, I know I talked about eliminating showrooms. We're going to have showrooms, just not in the sense of what we do now. This is a digital showroom from Porcelanosa. It's a small scale that they're starting to implement. This is something that we're working on building on a much larger scale, but you can actually touch that screen and go through a lot of their selections, and that's how the vignettes are going to go moving forward. Why would you have a $110,000 showroom build out when you could have a screen that, instead of having just 6 vignettes, you've got 1,000 to go through? And then Spark Vision is a marketing company that does the miniature. They do like smaller versions. I think these are great too, especially if you guys are going to trade shows, having booths. Things like this are really powerful. So when we look at this picture now, after going through everything that we went through, we realize we have come pretty far since 1963, even though it still feels a little antiquated. In 1982, we got AutoCAD, and this is what it looks like today. But as we move forward, like I said, the next couple of years are going to really change what we're doing. We, as a company with BB Design Co., are really pushing to move this forward more quickly. We are developing software to make it easier for clients to figure out layouts and budgets and have a good sense of what they're doing. Also, to be able to actually walk through their home. So with VR, you can walk through this space virtually and see it. We're developing a software now where the client will actually be able to open cabinet doors, look at the accessories, move the shower glass, see if they like it. They're going to actually be touching and feeling and really immersing in their project. And I think that's the future of what showrooms are actually going to be. And just in closing, this is a quote that I just found really appropriate. It says, "Once a new technology rolls over you. If you're not part of the steamroller, you're part of the road. So I love my trades. I have been the one on a job site, running back and forth, running to Home Depot when I need to, working with the guys when we're lean and jumping in. And I know how hard you work, how much time you spend away from your family, how much stress you have. And when starting BB Design Co., my entire goal was to try to pull some of that off of the trade and give them a better quality of life and sense of life. And we do that through technology. We're helping them earn jobs faster. We're helping them close jobs. We're helping them streamline their organization, get them up and running on a tighter, more organized ship, which means, you know, they're just running smoother, better overall, and they're hopefully gonna have a better quality of life and more time on their hands. So my big, big hope is that everyone gets on board and doesn't get steamrolled. But that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. The COVID pandemic has caused unprecedented disruptions and shifts in the global real estate and construction industry with regards to how people buy and sell houses. But now in this next session, we are going to jump ahead by 10 years and try to imagine what the real estate industry will look like. This next topic is titled Shifting Focus to the Decade Ahead, Real Estate Trends That Are Here to Stay. It is an absolute honor to welcome to the stage our next keynote speaker, Mr. John G. Stevens, the president of SRE.com.
All right. Everybody hear me okay? Perfect. I know it's 9:30 in Las Vegas. And so you guys are all the heroes and the champions, because if you got here yesterday and you're in Vegas, that means all night you probably didn't get much sleep, right? Anybody here actually not get any sleep last night? Anybody here daring enough to raise their hand? Right there. There you go. Perfect. So really, really humbled and excited to be here today and speak at WRECON. I want to say thank you, obviously, to Kowal and the team over there for all that they do to put this on and to be able to provide great content, really, for all of us here. So by show of hands, how many people here are realtors? How many people here are in finance? Contractors? Anybody here just because it sounded like a fun thing to do at 9:30 in the morning in Las Vegas? All right, there we go, clear in the back. So a little bit about myself. I'm president of SRE.com. Essentially what we're building is Amazon for the homeowner, is what we're doing there. A few years ago, I was awarded from LinkedIn as one of the 5% most viewed in the world on LinkedIn. For those of you, any Rotarians here? Rotary, okay, I'm a Paul Harris Fellow. And so those of you who are part of that, you understand that whole give first mentality. And that's something we're going to be talking about a lot today, okay, is the idea that no matter what trade you're in, what the future holds is the fact that, one, you need to be focused on the consumer, okay? Because if you're focused on yourself, I love that past quote, you're going to be steamrolled. Because consumers are smarter, they're more educated, and they're more aware of all of our industries more than they've ever been in the history of the world. So some of the big ideas that we're talking about today, trends that are impacting the future of real estate, where the trends are driving our industry, and what the future looks like from here. When I go out and consumers come to me and they say, John, what should we do? What are rates? I always want to make that joke. Well, let me grab my crystal ball, right? Let me tell you exactly what's going to happen. And what's really funny is some of them actually look at me and say, okay, what does it say? And you're just like, no, it was a joke. There is no crystal ball. We don't know. In fact, what COVID has taught us is that stocks and rates and housing aren't doing anything that we actually thought they were going to do based on historic trends. Anybody disagree with that? Wonderful. So going forward, how we got here, right? We're going to talk a little bit about demographics. Anybody in real estate understands the 3 absolutely critical rule to it, right? Location, location, location. And then you hear it on the news every single day. We have an inventory problem. So the American population today, if you look on there, we have a problem. For the first time in our history, our population is actually starting to dwindle. Okay? If you look at the graph to my right, your left, you can actually see where it rose up. Baby boomers, they did great, and people are having less children now. They're deciding to no longer have families. They're deciding, hey, you know what? I'd rather focus inward instead of outward. Okay? And everybody has their own ability to decide for themselves. But don't get too scared, because based on Gen Z, we have about 50 more years of a really great housing market. Okay? But if you look at the studies, and if you see what's happening, 50 years from now, we actually are going to have an excess of housing due to the limited amount of actual births happening in the United States right now. Where Americans live. Who here has heard over the last year, because the media wants you to think there's a mass exodus from the cities. Anybody heard that? Anybody seen that? Okay. Now, by raise of hands, how many think that that actually happened? And here's a wild hint. I'm going to tell you it didn't. So how many people want to say it actually happened? Raise your hand. Okay. What actually went through and happened is there was no mass exodus. A lot of people living in the major metropolis, right? So New York, San Francisco, LA, they shifted from living in the high rise to buying a home in the same area. 3%. That's the number of people who actually went through and shifted from a state, shifted from a big city to another state. That's actually normal number for an exodus. Really interesting, isn't it? So when we talk about, all these people are leaving the cities in droves, right? We envision the Dust Bowl of years gone by, right? Remember that? What was that famous show where he finds oil and they put grandma on top of the car? And she's on that rocking chair and they go out, right? They're rich, okay? And they Beverly Hillbillies, right? That's not what happened this time. So as you go back, the major population areas are still our major population areas. People shifted. And anybody here from California? Okay, what happens every time people move? They face those severe winters. And guess what? They move back. Okay, that's part of the trends. I was there last week with my family. We're right off the beach there in Playa del Rey. 72 degrees, 74 degrees. As we drove back, I live in Utah, and we drove back through the Mojave Desert, 118 degrees. Okay. So it goes back that way as well. Everybody, move to Vegas. And I saw so many billboards and so many signs. I'm sure you've all seen them as well. And one of the companies out there is called Homey. And their billboard said, make an extra $100,000 selling your home. Sell to a Californian. And I thought, that's a good marketing. I like that. But what we're seeing once again on there, people, 3% leaving, coming back. But what's happening is housing inventory is at historic lows. It's harder now than ever to actually find a home. Over the last year, small homes tripled in demand because for the first time in our history, as of May of this year, the average median price of a home in the United States, $380,000. That's the new high. Now some of you are saying, that's nothing. Median price in San Francisco is $1 million, right? Well, back in November of last year, when it just barely crested over 300,000, 75 million Americans couldn't afford the median household price. That's 60% of households. It's gone up since then to 380,000. So what's happening? It's too expensive and there's not enough homes. People want to experience the American dream. In fact, just give me the American apartment at some point, right? I don't need more than that little mow strip around the house. There's an article in the last 30 days in New York City, everybody's saying, don't worry, housing, plenty, plenty. There are no longer apartments available in New York because everybody's going back to work. People who thought they could wait can't wait. If we want to sell more homes, we're going to have more homes to sell. Now that sounds really easy, right? It's kind of like, 1 + 1 = 2. Except with this new math my kids teach. 1 + 1 could actually equal an insane amount of numbers. But where I was raised, I grew up in Germany, okay? We were there during the Cold War. Now, I'm not that old, I'm only 41, okay? But we were there when the wall came down. In simple math, 1 + 1 = 2, right? It's that easy. If you have more people wanting homes, you have to build more homes. But the problem is, contractors, are they building spec homes anymore? The contractors in this room, how many spec homes do you have right now hoping you can sell them? Right? We learned our lesson from the Great Recession. A great friend of mine, his dad and his uncles, who we bought his company off of, they went through and they almost went bankrupt. They were lucky that they had planned ahead for what was to come, just in case something ever happened during the last boom. We are past due the time for another easing of the housing bubble, because everything's in a cycle, right? COVID threw that all off. So existing home sales, they're still at an all-time high. And part of it is the fact that people are emotionally invested in the fact that they can't get a home. How many here has joined a line somewhere because everybody else was in the line? I can't be the only one. Everybody here is too embarrassed. They'll never admit it. I see a line for food and I think, ooh, those must be the best French fries in the world. I'm going to join that line. I'm getting in line. I'm going to buy that, right? When people see homes are going for sale right now, Austin, Texas, the average home, anybody want to take a wild guess how much over asking price every single home averages? $100,000. Austin, Texas, $100,000 is the average. So sales are high, inventory's low. And mortgage rates are still incredibly low. Last year alone, 12 times we had historic lows. So I served as the president of the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. I represented over the 900,000 loan originators in the United States, met with members of Congress, went out to DC, and made sure that we fought on behalf of homeowners. Those of you who are real estate agents, your association is NAR. They do the same thing, trying to make sure that bad legislation goes away, right? That good legislation is passed, because believe it or not, there is such thing as good legislation, okay? And making sure that people are protected. Yesterday, there's some major news that hit. The Supreme Court ruled that Fannie and Freddie could not come out of conservatorship. Those of you in the industry understand exactly what that means. And that is not good for our economy. So with mortgage rates low, you think, okay, everybody who's refinanced has refinanced, right? 78% of Americans did not refinance last year. Really let that sink in. $4.3 trillion in money last year was purchased and financed. This is the most since 2005, and 78% of people didn't take advantage of it. Is there still a lot more business out there? Have I put everybody to sleep? I can't see beyond. What do you guys think? Is there still a lot of business? There's 78% still business out there. Think about that. So when your competitors are out there saying, hey, I've done enough, I'm going to rest on my laurels now. You who are here today because you care enough about your industry, because you care enough about your consumers, because you care enough about your families, you're here learning more about what you can do in order to become better. Because isn't that what it's all about, to become better for your consumers? I learned today there was something even cooler than the old CAD drawings. I geeked out over that black and white stuff, right? And now, oh my gosh, is this real? Is that really what my house looks like? Something that is becoming industry standard. What did Benjamin Franklin say, the best time to plant a tree? Right, 40 years ago. Second best time to plant a tree? Today. So if you didn't know what the industry standard was, start today. If you didn't know what the best thing to do was for your client, start today. And once again, you're hearing this theme. It's all about the client. A great friend of mine back at the beginning of 2020, him and his wife, they own a major brokerage out in Arizona. And they made a conscientious decision to lower the income they make per loan. That's not what industry standard is. They blew through their personal records. In 2020, they closed 2,021 loans. a small shop as far as human capital, but they're in the top 10 as far as production with one of the major wholesale lenders in the United States of America, because they understood it was about volume, not getting rich off one client. Because guess what happens in a social marketplace? You create raving fans. And for those of you who aren't on social media, who have not posted a selfie today, right? That song, selfie, selfie, okay? Do it. Unlike most speakers, I'm telling you, take out your phones. Take pictures up there and share them. Because if your clients don't know what you're doing to become better, then they don't know what you're doing. And if they don't know what you're doing, you will cease to become relevant. And the individual who's no longer relevant goes the way of the dinosaur. And I don't know about any of you here, I love what I do for a living. I love this industry. Name any other industry where you can do the same exact thing day after day, but every single family is different. Every single family has different needs. Rates are low. Costs are going up. But lumber prices, 47% decrease. Did you guys see that article just recently? They've dropped and will continue to drop. And now guess what? They're worried there's going to be too much wood. And then they're going to have to shut things down again. Cyclical, right? So right now, pending home sales are down 4.4% in April. All the media wants you to see home prices rising, home sales lowering. But remember that old radio show, Now You Know the Rest of the Story, right? I don't think he had a Scottish accent, but I threw that in just in case. So he used to go through and say, well, here's the rest of this story. Well, home sales are down because there's no inventory. What the news should be is that homes are selling in record time, right? The news should be reporting on the fact that due to low inventory, people are unable to purchase homes. That's what it should be. NAR recently stated that this is actually a national crisis. Let that sink in. There aren't enough homes. Children are having to move back in with mom and dad or grandma and grandpa. Now all of a sudden you're having larger homes. McMansions are coming back. Isn't that really interesting to think? And not because people want to show things off, but because they have to have enough bedrooms and bathrooms and kitchens to have their entire family come in and move in with them. Because they can't afford, they can't find, they can't go out and experience what hopefully everybody in this room has already been able to experience, which is the American dream. Consumers still want to buy homes. And if anybody disagrees, we can meet out in the hall afterwards. They want to buy homes. Millennials are actually becoming one of the largest purveyors of, or purchasers of homes. So remember how everybody says, oh, the millennials are not buying, they're not buying. Well, guess what? That dam broke. And over the next 50 years, they have money and they're incredibly intelligent. And so once again, get on social media. Get out there, utilize the tools that were talked about previously, yesterday and today, and make sure that people are aware of what you do. Because I can guarantee I'm not the only one who had a friend who went through and financed a home, and he says, well, wait, I would have helped you. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Right? I heard some people agreeing. But CNBC just released a report this last week talking about the fact that we may be at a tipping point. I'm going to disagree with CNBC. I don't think there's a bubble getting ready to burst. I don't. Because once again, supply and demand. The demand far outweighs the supply. I do believe that we might be able to face an easing of the bubble. But this is not 2008 again. We still have, in my opinion, another 2 years of growth. And what this means is you have another 2 years in order to make sure that you continue to take care of your clients and create these raving fans. So the demographics we've talked about, they're steady. They're staying in the cities. They may be moving, right, to a smaller home. They may be moving out somewhere in the area, but guess what happens? As soon as they move, somebody else wants to move in. When I was 12 years old, and I know this sounds a little weird because a lot of people aren't like me at 12, I was thinking about my future. And I asked my dad, I says, Dad, now one thing you guys need to understand, my dad is one of my heroes, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. He's intelligent, he's smart, and he has a mustache, so when he makes a joke, you don't know if he's joking. And you always look for that little twinkle in the eye, right? But very, very intelligent man. And I says, Dad, what should I do when I grow up? And he looked at me, and some dads, oh, go do this, go do that. But he says, Johnny, because that's my nickname, he says, Johnny, find something people can't live without and go do that. So I thought about that. Then when I was 16 years old, I was in debate. You never would have guessed, would you? And was in debate, and I was listening to my debate coach. And he was talking about what his father did for a living. His father took sand from the desert and sold it to the Japanese because they needed to expand the island. And it clicked. You can't create more land. During times of plenty and during times of recession, people need homes, right? People refinanced when it was 20%. People bought when it was 18%. People complained that they have a 2.74% interest rate for 30 years. That's what consumers do. Well, my friend says I could have gotten a 1.75 60-year. Great. And you know what I tell those people? Go to your friend. Talk with them. Because remember, you always want them to come back and become raving fans. Talk with that friend. Get a quote from them and bring it back. And if they'll provide you with an ethical quote, I will match it. Okay? Because that's what we as professionals do. Because once again, it's not about making a ton of money off one deal, right? It's about making sure that we have plenty of inventory coming in the door. Warren Buffett, what did he say? When other people are running away from the investment, run towards it. And look what he did, right? So consumers need to find an easier way to find real estate. In order to beat this inventory problem that exists in the United States right now, where are they going? They're going to the internet, okay? Hopefully they're finding you on social media. Hopefully they're making sure to say, okay, this is who it is. However, they need a quicker way to bid on the homes as well, because what's happening? They're getting in, and 7 out of 10 Redfin agents said that 7 out of 10 of their purchasers, people trying to buy a home, are being outbid. 7 out of 10. Once again, we talked about it. Austin, Texas, asking price averages $100,000 over. And then the industry or our government must provide incentives to build more smaller homes. That is the future. Because if $380,000 is a median price as of last month, and if 75 million Americans can't afford the median price, then we need to come up with the solution in order to fix that problem. A friend of mine right now, they're 3D printing homes. Anybody seeing this? That's the future. 10 years ago, it was those Lego blocks was the future. Have you guys seen those? You fill them up and you put concrete inside. They're amazing. They're old. They're gone. Now it's 3D printing. And you can make that home look as amazing as possible. And guess what? It costs about 1/10 of the price. And they can build 5,000 square foot homes by 3D printing. This is the tech of the future today. They're coming up with products for tomorrow. So we thought it was going to be all about easier online searching, right? Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, and others, they've shown that finding the home is not enough. A lot of people talk about AI, but I'm here to tell you today that the human-assisted e-commerce is what people will continue to go to. Because if it was all about AI, then Walmart and Amazon and Zillow, they'd all control our industries, wouldn't they? If it was all about AI. People come back because they like and trust you. That's the future. Leverage your intellectual talent, leverage the technology, but make sure that you are ever present. Make sure that you remain relevant. Are there any appraisers in the room? Is that pretty telling? Talk about an industry that legislated themselves almost completely out of existence. And for those of you watching, there's not a single appraiser in this room. And what's happening? It's all online now. And for those of you dealing in today's economy, how many of those appraisals are actually coming in accurate based on the purchase price? Anybody had one in the last year come in with the purchase price? Me either. Because isn't the value what someone's willing to pay? And they're coming in too low because they aren't catching up with what the industry is doing. And so that is a great example of the human-assisted piece was pushed away, and now it's becoming completely e-commerce. And I hate to say it, I don't like it. Because I like it when an appraiser can come in and say, oh my gosh, you guys did marble in your bathroom? Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you did Brazilian walnut. It's not pine hardwood. Ding, ding, ding. Complete LED changeover. All of these things increase value. A computer will never, ever equate to the human capital. And I strongly believe that. And that is why consumers will continue needing an avenue in order to make sure they can find you. It's not about historic low interest rates, right? Rocket Mortgage, remember the button? That was easy. If it was all about historic low interest rates, game over, game done. All of us can go home. But what do? They go to the individuals, right, that they trust, that they know. Look at Amazon. Before Amazon, we were told that mail was a thing of the past, right? Opening up a letter, old, everything's email, right? How many here is like a child Christmas morning waiting for their Amazon package to show up? This guy right here. And I get so sad when the driver drives by and he or she doesn't bring me anything. We have like 10 drivers every day. They need to be more efficient, right? But they don't drop anything off. And I'm distraught. Because, you know, it's like that, you guys remember that old, The Music Man musical? The Wells Fargo wagons are coming? That's Amazon now, okay? But what they've actually noticed is people enjoy opening up packages. Mail is on the rise. People enjoy opening up a letter again. How many of you actually write thank you letters? Isn't it so funny? We're talking about the future, and I'm saying write a letter. Okay? Because the future is people want that human-assisted piece. And then they're going to take a picture of it and share it on social media. And they're going to sit there and they're say, look what I got today. Right? They care about me. They care about my family. They care about the purchase. They care about my home. Hey, I'm just calling to see if you love that design we did. Didn't I tell you this was coming back in style, right? You know, did you love that addition we did to your home? How do you feel we did on the refinance? People need to find an easier way to find a real estate loan officer or realtor or builder that they trust. Now, at the end of the day, we can't sell more real estate until there's more of it to sell. Okay? But in the meantime, we need to give consumers faster and easier access to trusted advisors that will level the playing field. When you go to Amazon today, do you even look at anything that has 1 star? I don't. In fact, I get so annoyed, I only click 4 stars and up. Plus, I only want Prime, right? Because I know they've had reviews. I know that people trust them and like them. That's something we're working on right now today, my company. So if you have a second, go there, look at it. rpa.sre.com. People sign up, consumers come in, and then based on reviews, based on stars, they find you, they like you, they use you. It's that social marketplace that is the future of our industry. Because consumers right now, gone are the days of printing out 100 pages, hopping in the van, and going and looking at homes. They're online. They're talking to their friends online. And with this economy the way it is and the lack of inventory, as soon as they contact you, they are ready to flip the switch. And they want people who are efficient, who are on top of their technology game, and most importantly, can be trusted. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stevens. I actually brought my phone up. I heard what you had to say. All right, here we go. Up next, we are going to be doing our awards. We are acknowledging those with extraordinary contributions of the great minds of real estate and construction industry. Here I invite Ms. Evo Lucas, the serial entrepreneur, angel investor, and the CEO and co-founder of 24 Notion, to present the awards. Correction. We have Devin Martyr here to present the awards. I'm really great at handing out awards, so I can do it. Unless we have a backup, I'm not sure. We have a third name coming. David Amata, you're the winner. Come on down. Yeah, you can come that way. You want me to? Okay, sure. Sure. All right, David Amata is the Director of Business Development at Edgewood. He's going to be presenting the awards for us today. And our first award winner is Andrew Blumenthal. Okay, Britt Treese. He is here and he's making his way. And next is Christian Dane.
I just want to thank all you guys for coming out here. Mr. Stevenson's speech really spoke to me there. And being a young guy like myself, I get questions all the time about what the market's going to do and everything like that. And it's very insightful to be with people like you guys to look up to. So I really appreciate it.
Our award presenter is also with venture funding. He wanted me to mention to you as well. Okay, so next is David Greek. Diego Torres.
Okay, hello, my name is Diego Torres. I'm an entrepreneur from Colombia. I got a company with over 100 people there. We have operations in Colombia, Panama, and by the end of this year, we're hoping to open operations in Brazil. We do real estate with technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, 3D virtual tours. I'm here to learn about the US market, also to meet potential partners. So we'll be happy to connect with each one of you. Thank you.
Hayden Daly. Hayden Daly. Ko Ichikawa. Ko. Luis Viara. Luis Viara. Mark Heenan. Mark Heenan.
Mark Ian, I know there are some veterans out here in the group. Just wanted to say thanks for your service. I know you get tired of hearing that, but let's give back to the vets as they've given to us.
Prasanna Lachakari. Prasanna.
Hello everyone, this is Prasanna Lachagari. I'm from India and I'm design director at SDI Architecture. Where I come from, I would always hear construction industry isn't for women, and my friends and family who told me so are really proud that I'm winning this award today. While we women can do it all on our own, I met few men on my way who helped me get here, and I would like to thank them today. That is Benjamin Williams, my business partner Abhinav Sharma, my business partner, and my mentor Ian Tabiner. Thank you.
Roger Furman. Roger Furman.
Hi, my name is Roger Furman. I'm playing at dancing with this woman, obviously. I want to thank you for this award and recognition. I work for a company called Growth Zone. We're an association management-based software as a service company based in Minnesota. We service membership-based associations. So we have a real estate and a home builder association software that integrates, makes it easier to do business with us. But I appreciate this award, and if you'd like to learn more about us, feel free to find me in the back here, but thank you.
Ronnie White. Ronnie White.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Thank you so much for this award. And I have to give thanks to my dad, who, when I was a little kid, spending summers with my siblings, rehabbing his multifamily properties and hating it, especially since they were like really old. But, you know, found really fun things like kerosene lanterns and, you know, old-timey time spectacles, and some of them I still have today. So anyway, this is for him because after he and my mother celebrated their 60th, he died pretty much a few days after that. So, you know, I'm glad to accept this for him. Thank you.
Shane Allen. Shane Allen.
I'd just like to thank God for all my success, and it's been a long journey and a lot of challenges to get where I'm at, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, and thank you.
Sisto Akanda Ndama.
Good morning. My name is Sisto Ochanda Andama. Most places I go, people ask me, where are you from? I originally from Uganda. I moved to the US about 20 years ago. I was a civil engineer, construction project manager, and now I went to London School of Economics. I studied cities. I help cities in their urban development agenda. I had a company called Paramount Cities as the chief executive officer. I've been all around engineering, from mining to civil engineering to water. I've pretty much tried everything. And the future, like everybody is talking about future, is actually urban development. I agree so much with Johnny when you talk about people moving from cities. People actually have not moved away from the cities. In fact, more people are going to move into cities. Statistics says, studies also show that by the year 2050, about 80% of the world's population will be living in at least urban environment. So I believe and think that building urban environment is where we should put most of our efforts. Of course, coupled with people like WRECON. The backlog of housing in this world, I don't think it has ever been met, and I'm not sure it will ever be met. So our company is doing a lot of work, especially in the urban and Asia region, We have a branch in Singapore and a couple of African countries. We have a Singaporean investor who has promised to work with us in all cities we work in building at least 3,000 homes. So as the chief executive, it's my interest to understand real estate from bottom up. And that's the reason I'm here. I thank you for the award. And this award I'll dedicate to my family who are always bearing me because most of the time I'm out of the home. Thank you.
Timmy Ryerson. Timmy Ryerson.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to WRECON for this amazing award. I am the owner and CEO of Smart Property Systems, a property management software. We're sold online as a virtual software, which you can travel with and take anywhere that you have an internet connection. And it covers the complete rental cycle. So it's pretty exciting for me that we got this award, and I want to say thank you.
Vina Lustato. Vina Lustato.
Thank you so much, everyone, and especially to WRECONference for all their hard work throughout the past several months to put this award together, and also the conference. I'm truly honored and humbled to receive this award. So my name is Vina Lustato, and I'm the CEO and founder of Soul House Design. I specialize in sustainable building solutions for home applications, and one of my passions is designing smaller, efficient homes for sustainability. And if you're interested, I will give a presentation tomorrow regarding resiliency in the age of climate change for smaller, prefabricated structures. And I'm also doing a fireside chat session in the afternoon with another contractor for the afternoon on Friday. So I look forward to meeting with you. Thanks.
Andrew Blumenthal. Andrew Blumenthal. And Britt Treese. Britt Treese.
No, you're good. You're good. No, no worries. No worries. I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks for letting me come back up. I appreciate that. We're from Raleigh, North Carolina. We're a commercial due diligence firm that's regional and responsive, and we're trying to change the inspection world by making it understandable. If you were here yesterday, Philip kind of joked about inspectors, and I said, I don't work for the government, man. We want to work for clients and make what we do really understandable and usable. But I just wanted to take a minute to say thanks to WRECONF for having us, for putting this whole thing together. It's really an honor. Man, just to stay in business for the last year and a half has been just a gift from God, and I want to thank my parents. I want to thank my children, my project manager, Larry. Eleanor is on our team, and we have a bunch of inspectors that we work with and mentors, and it takes a village, you know, so I really appreciate all my teammates, and thanks again for having us.
Thank you to all of our award winners. We are going to take a coffee break. We have about 30 minutes for a coffee break. All right, welcome back. I hope everybody enjoyed your break. Everyone is interested in property selling, but that's quite a tricky arena. To get an overview of the basics of property selling and to gain a few useful tips, I welcome Mr. Alex Rodriguez, the CEO of Tempo, to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Did you get your coffee this morning? Because we will talk something today. It's a little bit changing. It's changing a lot. My name is Alex Rodriguez. I'm the CEO of Tempo. Tempo is a company which our pursuit is to redefine the intelligence around the real estate. And what we want to do and we expect to do with our clients, it's how you build a project to be a blockbuster in selling. This is all we want at the end, because it's easy to make a project, but it's a little hard at the end in selling if you don't do your stuff, the thing you should do properly. So let me tell you a story. This is Gala. She has 6 years old. She's seeing his favorite cartoons in a tablet, and this is not new. This is so easy. This is something, it happens every single day, but this is another situation. Back in the 90s, if you want to see your favorite TV show, you have to stay tuned in front of your TV in the specific schedule. So if you don't see the changes there, is because technology is just new. If you knew how it worked before, if you don't, it doesn't feel new. So if everything is changing, if now a 7-year-old child from Colombia has more common with another 7-year-old child from wherever other country like India than with another 65-year-old from his same country, something is changing. Globalization, technology, a lot of stuff. So if everything changed, why we try to sail the same way? We need to change something. So with all that, let's back to basics and see everything about property selling. This is Bob. He is a baby boomer. He's a Generation X. This is Mike. He's a millennial. They are very different. And the approach to them has to be very different. So see the sales funnel. With Bob, you only need to have 50% effort to get his attraction, and the rest is about the shopping experience, the follow-up, the proactivity. But with Mike, it's very, very different. If you want to catch his attention, you need to put all your effort in attraction. Then it becomes the shopping experience, the follow-up, the proactivity. But if you don't get the attention of Mike before everything, there is no sale to do. So develop of the digital tools. We have Uber, we have Waze, we have a lot of ways to arrive to somewhere, and probably some place new. Why we are still doing this? Do you arrive to a project just because you see something there? No, you arrive there because it's in Google Maps. You pick an Uber, you put the direction, you put the direction in Waze. Why? Why we still spending this amount of money to try to arrive to our clients in this way? We have to spend more money in a better website, and a website is attractive enough to get the contact from the client, show him where I am, come visit me, something like this. Today, only the 50% of the budget is for TTL. It should be a little bit more. The 17 remains in press. it should be a little more. So internet now changes everything. Without internet, it's nothing. So the whole budget should be TTL or as close as possible, okay? Social media, grow up. Even with the pandemics, grow up. Even Facebook, which is the most positioned social network today. And you get more from TikTok and other platforms. Okay, it's not easy to sell real estate in TikTok, okay? But you're still having a lot of tools to explode. In 2021, one thing is changing apart from TikTok is people from 55 and above is turning digital because they had to stay home to be safe and multiple situations. So the only approach to the real world when you stay home is digital. So even this generation is getting digital, and we stay in the touching materials like press or banners. We need to change to digital. Let's talk about the experience when you arrive to the showroom. Actually, most of the time you have to register yourself in a piece of paper. Nobody wants that. You have to customize the face-to-face, the self-check-in. You don't want to get to an airport and start signing your data and your flight and everything. No, you want your QR in a cell phone and get through. So why in real estate we're still doing it in paper? So apart from we have the project pitch, we have the architectonics, the mock-up. You need to know what your client needs. It's knowing their needs, making a nice experience, follow-up, is a happy customer, okay? For the baby boomer, like Bob, the conventional is the mock-up, the typologies, the showroom, the prices, and that's it. For the millennial, is the experience, and experience, and experience, and then the rest. So we need to change it a little bit. This is the concept for baby boomers of 3D. This is 3D for baby boomers, okay? You go from Mario Bros in your Game Boy and you're getting better pixels. But we need to do something a little bit more like this. This is something we did for a project close to the beach, and we want to build a very different experience. I don't know if you can hear it. We put our clients in a kind of closed, immersive experience. It's a closed showroom. You have this just plain and white mock-up. And then with video mapping, we make it a little bit more extraordinary. It's not about the budget. It's these things, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than a regular mock-up. But look this kind of experience. You can see the amenities show up, you can see the different buildings, you can see everything. So we need to push to this direction a little bit more because it happens, I call them the Nespresso experience. It's impossible for us to sell a property, maybe $100,000, maybe $1 million, and you have a regular experience. Maybe even you don't remember to go to this showroom, but you go to Nespresso, you get one shot for free, they treat you like the king, and everything is, sir, please. You get with experience, and you bought a blister of 10 coffees, and it's probably the best experience you get in the day. So we need to push really different experiences. If a client don't remember to get to your showroom to know about your project, it's impossible this client is going to buy you. It's impossible. You don't buy anything you don't remember. What's next? The follow-up. Okay, you got your client, the client is very happy, knows your project, has all the experience with you, but you need to get to the follow-up. And the follow-up is The old is the new. See these statistics from the National Sales Executive Association. 48% of salespeople never follow up. And the most critical one is only the 2% of sales are made in the first contact. So this is the real value of follow-up. The 3% is the second contact, 5% in the third contact, 10% in fourth contact, and 80% are made in the fifth contact. Follow-up is everything. This process is very long, but if you end a little bit short, you will not end it well. So follow-up is everything. Another thing is the optimal number of calls. Well, you can see it is almost same reactions, but it's the speed. How many minutes, really? How many minutes do you wait until you get your contact from your Facebook page to you to contact him? This is critical because the moment this prospect is in his cell phone looking for your project is the moment of the highest interest for him in your project. 5 minutes later, he scrolls down that much, he doesn't remember your project anymore. So the speed of you trying to connect these prospects is everything. And as long you take to connect them, this time lapse is going to be critical for your success. So high speed is everything, high velocity to contact them. So what we have to do, and I want to wrap up a little bit, is believe, achieve, succeed, and repeat. It's the same process. It's the same process every single time. You have to have a nice project, you have to sell it well, you have to get him with a nice experience and follow up, okay? This is a real happy customer. And how do you approach to them? With a phone call? No. No. Because everyone wants to be text. Nobody wants to get a phone call. If you are here right now and someone is calling you from something, maybe you want to buy it, probably you don't get you don't pick this phone call. But probably if they send you a message, WhatsApp, a Facebook, probably you will read it. Maybe not answer back, but yes, you will read it. So it changed. The generations are changing. The way you approach the clients are changing. So let's see the most popular ways to contact people here in the US. The most used is Facebook Messenger. And then you have FaceTime, Zoom, Snapchat, WhatsApp. So here's the tools are for free. Use it. It's the way to approach your clients. Even you can build a bot to start doing the first steps of the conversation until a human being can catch up and take control of the conversation. Yeah? Okay? You have to define a little bit more your project. This is 2 steps back before you start doing your own project. And something that happens a lot is all the projects are identical to the bestseller in the area. You know, if something is, is a blockbuster, something is working, something is selling enough, okay, why do something different? Let's try to learn and copy the best results from this last project and then build our new project. Well, this is what happens when you do that. You get close enough, but you are not exactly the project, and this is the kind of comparison your new clients are going to do. Yep, it's almost the same. One is a Huawei, the other one is a Vivo. Which one is better? It will be only the price. The only difference between buying one and the other one will be only the price. And then you get in a price war, and this is not good for business. So you need to do something, it makes your projects unique and make your client reflect himself with your project. Something that makes click in him and says, yeah, I want that because I'm seeing myself living there or renting there or something like this. But he don't make this click, like when these new buyers go to IKEA and see the perfect furniture for them. Is the perfect furniture? Probably not. But it's the perfect for them because they feel they want to live in a house with this kind of furniture. This is the reflection you need to have with them. So what you have to do, you have to understand your clients, you have to make a proper concept of them. This is what we do in our company, is understanding which kind of clients do you have, and then start building different prototypes, which will be the mix in between the prototypes, the amenities, everything. But you have to know your client. Knowing your client actually is the best and the best way and the first step to selling real estate. Okay, that's really, really what it matters. Was a real pleasure to be here with you. This is if you scan this QR, you can get to my LinkedIn, get digital. So if you have any questions, I will be more than glad to answer. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready for questions. No problem.
There we go. Hi, Ashley Jetta
Hi.
Garcia. Quick question: is your integration for just like real estate agents, or could it be used? Do you see it being used with construction and real estate investors? In addition, follow up: do you have like a CRM, PMP type situation that you guys do within house as well?
We work, actually our main clients are huge developers because medium to huge developers, because investing in market analysis is not that usual yet. It has to be, in my humble point of view. I think we have to invest a little bit more in there. So what we do is, first step is we have two parts in working. The first one is before the project exists, to understand the market and define a perfect project for this new market. Because in real estate, timing is a little bit difficult. You know, you maybe buy the land today, and you will start selling in 3 years, or when you get the permissions and when you had your own project and stuff. So between these 3 years, you can get caught with a pandemic or something, and everything changed. So you have to try to stay in touch with the next market as much as possible to define a better project. Then what happened, we know the market, we know the project, we know our competition. We try to train the sales force to be the best in their job, because information is everything. When you get a client and he says, yeah, your project is good, but it's not cheap enough. In comparison with what? You know all the information. You can build up your answers with information. When you don't have it, it's very difficult. So what we do is, with all the information we have from the beginning, and we try to actualize that, we train the sales force to make the better speeches, to understand the project and the competition as best as it's good. About the CRM, we don't work this part yet, because the market is very good. It's a lot of nice opportunities. It's growing with the startups are making their approach for CRMs cheaper than, for example, Primavera or Salesforce. And maybe you don't have all the buttons, but it works enough, so we don't try to get to this point. You're welcome. Do you have an API integration? Sorry? Do you have an API integration with what you're doing? No, we try to be very specialist, and the API integration has to be API people, so we don't touch this thing. So, but we get the inputs. Every time our client wants to build the digital marketing strategy, we make a handover meeting with the IP team, so they get with all the information they need. And we stay in touch the whole process. We don't implement nothing per se, but we stay there to understand which were the effect of some campaigns and next. You're welcome. You get your mic.
Do you encourage your sales force to go ahead and use these tools like Messenger and et cetera that you put up here to engage with the clients, to follow up with the clients, et cetera, that you're trying to do? Do you allow that to take place? What type of form would you train them on to do this, you know, knowing that each individual has their own Facebook, their own brand, their own personality, and, you know, things that they want to express even though they work for you and are trying to sell a project?
Yeah, that's a good question, because this part is very difficult to control. What every single individual do in your sales force is complicated, and you don't want to follow in a situation that you get to audit your own team, and that's complicated. This is extra work you don't want to do. So what we encourage is to do. You concentrate all the communications with one people, just one person. So this one has the control with everything, and she or he is the one who take the prospect to every single of your sales force, you know, and you make a process to sell it well, you know, like when you contact the prospect the first time, then you call him or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, you say, yeah, you know, I'm until here, I can help you. You need more specific information, I will deliver you with the best seller I had right now available in my team. He's Tom. Tom is great. He knows the project perfectly, and Tom will help you from now. So this is no more digital conversation. It's one-to-one, maybe on the phone, maybe on Facebook Messenger, but you have control of the first part. It's impossible to get control of everything, but you get the way to do it. One thing we do back in Mexico is everybody has a very freestyle to put pictures in her phone profile. So we deliver one phone per people, and we decide which kind of picture or life status they put in, because it's hard to sell with some personal stuff. So yeah, you have to invest a little bit in this kind of things. But this is the way we purpose to do it, and it's until now it's working pretty well. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rodriguez. Continuing the learning streak with another session, technological disruptions have proven to be a boon for the real estate and construction industry, sparking real growth and bringing in profits for businesses. Let's get a 360-degree view of the arena by means of a panel discussion on this. I'd like to request Eric Turner, the Vice President of LJP Construction Services, to the stage. And they're going to be talking about how technology is impacting commercial real estate and construction. Again, welcome, Eric Turner.
Thank you.
And joining him is going to be Mark Heenan, as well as Nish Patel, Diego Torres, and Diego Torres. Welcome them as well.
Good morning, everybody, or very close to afternoon. Thank you for attending our session. My name is Eric Turner. As I was briefly introduced, I'm the Vice President of Construction Operations with La Jolla Pacific, also known as LJP Construction Services. We are a third-party inspection company doing quality control, quality assurance across the country. We also do some owner's rep work, and we also do expert witness stuff and things of that nature. It is a privilege to be the moderator for this panel. It's a very distinguished group with a lot of variety. You know, the topic for our panel discussion is how technology is impacting real estate and construction, which is a very broad topic. And fortunately for us, we've got a very broad experience group here. And I'm going to give everybody a quick minute to go ahead and introduce themselves. And we'll go ahead and start off with Nish.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Just to get a gauge of the audience, could we get a show of hands for who comes from the brokerage world? Okay, and who comes from more of a construction background? Got it. And any entrepreneurs here? Okay, great context.
A lot of overlap.
Looks like it. Okay, cool. So I'm Nish Patel, partner at Inertia Ventures. We focus